Coming to you live from the finale of Millennials versus Gen X. It's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's the guy who's very lucky to be joined by the great winner and super mom, Kim Spradlin.
Yay!
How are you?
I'm so good.
Kim,
so
welcome.
excited to be here. I've peed by myself multiple times today.
Yes.
I've had my own coffee, my own music.
By yourself.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
You don't get to do that a lot.
Yes.
It's a luxury.
It's a luxury.
I'm really excited to be here.
Well, it's a luxury to have you here, Kim. I'm
Yeah.
so excited that this worked out.
Me
It
too.
worked out great to have you here at the finale, to do these
An
interviews
incredible
with me.
finale.
An incredible finale. We had so much fun during the show. Can't wait to talk about all of that.
Me too.
But Kim, we have a brand new Survivor winner, Adam Klein.
Yay.
And what a story. I mean, what a game, but I feel like that it's almost secondary to, I never imagined,
I know.
my cold heart, I never imagined that I would be like tearing up at a Survivor finale.
A lot of people
Never
were. Not a
imagined
dry
that.
eye in the house.
I never thought that that was a thing
I know.
that could possibly happen. And really, it was such. If this was a movie,
It was
you
beyond
would
anything
say-
we've seen on Survivor, I think, ever.
You would say that this is the most unrealistic movie that's ever been
Yeah.
written. There's no chance that this could happen.
Yeah.
And Adam did a great job.
You know what? And
tonight.
I can't even wait. One of the things I don't even know if I want to ask him this, but Survivor for me was such an emotional experience, and I had nothing going on, and so I can't even fathom what this has been like for him to be going through Survivor and all of this with his mom at the same time.
Yeah, it's incredible. We'll talk to Adam. We'll talk to the entire Final Six as they come through here. It's only minutes after the Survivor finale, so I'm very excited to get into this with everybody. Any other big takeaways from tonight? I guess the other big story has to be that David didn't win.
Yeah.
It really looked like, especially once they got Jay out of the picture at the Final Six, it looked like it was David's game to lose. Ultimately, they convinced Ken, of all people, to flip against David.
I know.
I think that
Shocker.
was probably the other big shocking
That
moment
was a
for
big
this
shocking
finale.
moment. I never saw that coming.
No, I never did.
Never.
And we'll talk with Ken about that because I just felt like that Ken's whole game,
The whole way up to the end.
right,
Yeah.
was that he was Mr. Loyalty.
I know.
And then he ultimately does that. And I think that maybe in the eyes of the jury,
It
that
hurt
was
him.
like, well, I don't even know who you are anymore.
I know.
Because-
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Couldn't have gone well either way, maybe for Ken, but I think that was bizarre.
it really was a bizarre moment. So
Out
we'll
of
talk about
character.
all that with our Final Six here tonight. So very excited to bring you those interviews. So you want to get into it?
Yeah.
This is so cool.
All right. Here we are with the winner of Survivor Millennials versus
That's
Gen
awesome.
X.
That's
Adam
really
Klein is here. Adam,
Yay.
congratulations.
Thank you so much, Rob.
I mean, what an amazing story this whole thing.
Oh, man.
Incredible. I don't think there was one person that was there that watched this that you didn't move. It's so incredible, and you touched everybody tonight. And I hope it doesn't overshadow your win in any way, but it was incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's two stories here. One is that I won the
You won
game, which is
Survivor.
so cool, and then the other is that we're hopefully inspiring people to live like my mom always did, which is so full of life, always laughing, always loving, always dancing. She was always on the dance floor, and then hopefully bringing a lot of awareness and money to lung cancer research, which is a disease that is very misunderstood and underfunded.
Yeah. And I'm sure your mom is so proud of you, and you're such a wonderful ambassador. And for the people that are listening to the podcast or watching the video, could you just give out the link?
I'm going to be
more
one of
time?
them. Yeah, it's su2c.org/survivor. And if you go there, you can make a donation, and you'll see a video as well about my mom and our story.
Yeah. I thought you wonderfully articulated what your game looked like when Zeke asked the question about how did you contribute to the evolution of this game. And I think that in the post-Tony space, I think that you did provide an interesting argument for that whoever is out in front as the target is going to be targeted.
Yep.
So that there's an interesting strategy
Right.
to be discussed of keeping threats out in front of you,
Right.
and then being able to identify this guy, this guy, this guy, and then being there at the
Right.
end to be able to say, this is what I did.
Right, and there were a lot of people, yourself and Steven included, who thought that voting out Sunday was a mistake.
Yes.
For me, I would have preferred to go with my plan, but at a certain point, if one of your alliance members is saying, this is what I want to do, if you put your foot down and say, no, it has to be the way that I want it to be, maybe you'll get your way at that vote, but then all of a sudden, you're the guy in control, and you don't need to be in control throughout the entire game. When you take control, maybe step back for a minute or two to let other people, get that top spot so they can be, the biggest threat going into the final 5.
Okay, so while we're on this, I have to ask you.
Yeah.
So at the end, you laid out your plan, and it was genius and beautiful and amazing to hear you say that you had really plotted that. Did you actually intentionally have those 3 people in front of you? Or was that kind of like a retrospective thing where you're like, this really worked out well?
Everything that I did on Survivor was intentional. Even the moves that didn't end up panning out. When I told Taylor about the advantage, that was a calculated risk. Did that one work? No, it didn't, but I was able to recover from it. And I was able to keep Taylor's secret so that, of course he came after me at that tribal council, and so it looks like to everyone else, Taylor hates me. But Taylor was just trying to stay in the game and doing whatever he could to stay in the game. In the end, he realized I never betrayed him. I kept his secret. I was being genuine when I told him I wanted to work with him. And they remember that when they then go to the jury.
Okay.
And so I had strong relationships even when people thought I didn't.
How shocking was the betrayal ultimately when you told Hannah, hey, I found the idol, and that she obviously went and told told David
Right.
and Ken that the votes where they were going?
So I will be the first to admit that I made mistakes throughout this game. And telling Hannah that I found that idol was absolutely a mistake.
Yeah.
I just, there were times where I couldn't fathom things happening that ended up happening. And I couldn't put together that Hannah might not want to vote out Dave in that moment because I knew that she wanted to go to the end with me and that she thought she could beat me. So essentially, she and I were playing in the same position in terms of where our heads were at, right? And in my head, with the position that I'm in, Dave needs to go. So I'm thinking, she thinks she's in the same position, so she's also got to be thinking that Dave needs to go.
The obvious logical choice.
Right,
Yes.
and so I just couldn't. I remember after that vote came out and the third Brett vote came out, I turned to the jury and they were all like in hysterics. They could not believe it, and I said, "What? Why?" I didn't understand how that could possibly happen. And for Hannah, Brett did want to go to the end with her, and I did want to go to the end with her, and but it worked out. And at that challenge, every move that I made in that Final Four Tribal Council was just designed to stay one step ahead of Dave. That's why I stopped. In case the other 2 fell, I didn't want Dave all of a sudden to win the challenge.
Now, other than Jay, you kept it a secret the whole game to not tell anybody about your mom's condition.
Yeah.
Now, how much of that was that you were worried that people were going to target you because you had that, and was that inspired at all by watching Jeremy play in the Second Chances?
So with sympathy stories like this, I think there's a very real perception that it helps you at the end and it helps you get votes in front of a jury, but that it's not an actual advantage. And you've talked to the other a number of the other jury members. I think that if you ask them, did Adam win because of the story that he told at the end of Final Tribal Council, they would say no. That wasn't the reason why I got votes in the end. But there is this perception, and now it's going to be even heightened in future seasons because I won and Jeremy won, that it is a real threat. But in the end, people will vote for the person that they think played the best game or that they had the closest connection to and that they want to represent their season as the winner of their season.
And you did that so beautifully because you did play an incredible game.
Thank you.
And it wasn't about your story, but that was just a beautiful thing that people got to find out about you at the end.
I did also tell one other person actually in the game, and it was in this episode. We didn't see it, but after Brett was voted out, I wanted Ken to know that I was also there for someone. He was there for his daughter. And normally this would be a terrible time to do something like this because people are looking for any reason that someone's a bigger threat than them. But Ken is such a genuinely good human being that he wants to sit at the end with other people that he believes are good human beings and that deserve to be there. And so it gave him an out because he had promised Final Three to me. He had also promised it to Dave. And so he was going to have to betray someone. I wanted him to feel okay about keeping me in the game.
I know you got to run. What was the one biggest move that you felt like you made in the game?
I don't know if it's the biggest move, but the move that set the course for the rest of the game was the move that we all saw at Live Know-It-Alls, which was actually voting out Figgy. And what you didn't see on that episode was that at that challenge, at the immunity challenge, Will and Michaela, and I thought even Jay at the time, were all emphatically telling me, vote Figgy. So what I was able to do was align myself with Gen Xers and signal to the other Gen Xers that I was willing to work with them while also doing the bidding of other millennials, again, making myself seem like less of a threat that I just did it because you guys told me to do it. When in reality, it put me in a very strong position to have options and numbers at the merge, which we ended up having with 9 people voting together at the first vote of the merge.
Well, Adam, congratulations again. I really do hope that we'll be able to sit down and really go through the whole 39-day experience. I'm really looking forward to it as well. Congratulations again, and everyone, I'm sure wants to tell you just how happy we are that you won, and how much our heart goes out to you and your family during this unbelievable experience that you guys have been through.
Thank you so much.
So much love.
Thank you.
For
I really appreciate it. Can
You're
I give you guys
amazing.
both a hug?
Yes, absolutely.
At the same time.
Group hug. Okay.
So nice to meet you.
Great to meet you.
So well done.
Yeah. All right, everybody, we're back with Hannah. Hannah, how are you?
I am good. I am overwhelmed, but also this has been fun, and I just was on live television and probably shouldn't have been allowed to be.
You were good.
You were really good.
I was nervous that I was gonna swear or just be wildly inappropriate. And you had me and Dave both shaking before we went out. We're a very anxious group for live television, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
This might be the most anxious season there ever has been of Survivor.
I mean, listen, between me, Zeke, and Dave, I think the anxious alliance could have been a very real thing.
Yeah.
If it had become a thing.
Yeah.
You don't seem anxious at all to me. That's the amazing thing. Like, I know that you were struggling with that on the show, but as I watched
You beat
you're
it.
so comfortable.
Did I beat
You
anxiety?
did it.
You did. You're so funny and
Yes.
candid and wonderful
Oh, that's
to
so
watch.
nice of you to say.
Everyone
No,
loves
I'm
you.
still an anxious person, and I think I still have social anxiety. But at some point, you gotta be like, I'm gonna do this anyways. Like I remember, because I started watching Survivor at 14, and I was like, I love this show.
When you were 14 or
I
at
was
season 14?
No,
Right.
I started
the
with
same
Cook
season.
Islands.
Well, that's pretty close. You're right there.
No, I started at 14 with Cook Islands, and I was like, oh my god, I'd love to do this. This is the best game ever. But I also couldn't go to a party without extreme social anxiety. So I was like, I gotta work on some things before I can go
that's
be
really
on national
impressive.
television.
Right. All right, so you took
I don't know where to look. It's also exciting.
It's very exciting. So you took a lot of heat tonight about a couple of the decisions that you made.
I did,
Yes.
Rob, I did.
You did. All right, so let's just talk them through. I guess
Talk all the decisions
let's talk them all through, and then I guess in reverse chronological order.
Why not?
Yes. Okay. So I guess not a lot of heat voting out David at Final Four.
No, listen. Okay, you asked your question. No heat. Everyone, the jury would have had the party the jury would have had if they would have been allowed to vote for David at Final Three would have been a huge one.
Yes.
We all knew that.
Yes.
So
that was fine.
Yes.
Then
You got
at
the check
Final
on that.
Yeah, that was good. Final Five though,
the red vote
ultimately.
is very, very controversial.
Yes, it was a controversial vote, and you really took your time with it. You had a moment where you
Yes.
said, "Hey, I'm deciding what's going to happen tonight." Ultimately,
I would love to walk you through this vote because
Please
I
do.
think that the jury didn't understand. I think my biggest fault in this game is that perception is everything, and I think so many people on the jury didn't understand how much I was thinking things through and how clearly. And the person who saw my game the most clearly was Adam, who was sitting at the end with me.
Right.
And I think that this vote especially, people thought, does she think she can beat Dave? But no, listen, Ken was so key to my game, and Ken influenced a lot of my seemingly sporadic game decisions. I think Ken would go on hour-long rambles about loyalty and companionship.
I totally got
Companionship.
what you were saying about Ken, never
Ken-
forgiving you, never talking to you again if you were to vote out David.
If I lost Ken, I potentially lost the game because I knew that I had a chance against Ken at the end. Ken was someone who would beat these challenges, and I was afraid that if I betrayed Dave then and Ken won, that would be an issue. It's also less clear from my perspective at the time who Brett would have gone with. It was, I know keeping Dave till 4 is a very risky move, but I also knew that I did not want to sit next to the lovely man.
And you're speaking very eloquently about this right now, and with great passion. Do you feel like you were able to do that during the final tribal council to the degree that you wanted to?
I think at Final Tribal, yes. I think I spoke as passionately and fought as hard as I possibly could. I think, and Dave will agree that, I had trouble with the balance between, I am goofy, I am quirky, but I also think I'm smart and capable. And I think that I had trouble with that balance between when to show my cards and when to hide them. A huge thing is that we had a post-merge season of mostly men, and the one woman who was openly strong, Jessica, was being targeted at nearly every tribal council. I thought if I could lead with being goofy and quirky, I would get a lot of information, I would get a lot of maneuverability. But again, there are still some jury members who don't understand where I was and how I was playing, and it's always a balance between that.
Yeah. And then the idea...
It's so weird to hear your voice loud and see.
Yeah, isn't it? Me too.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Well,
It's Rob of Rob is a podcast.
look, this is what we do. So
This is what we do.
going back to the Sunday vote then, another vote that you took heat from, especially from Sunday in the
took a
final
lot of
tribal
heat,
council.
yes.
So the idea that you said Sunday is a GOAT, I want to get rid of her. Who were you worried about was going to take Sunday to the end? Was it Adam?
I'd also first like to clarify that, I think reevaluating the term GOAT, I think Sunday was playing a subtle and social game. She's someone I love a lot, and I regret my choice of words. The reason I wanted Sunday is because Sunday and Brett were a really strong pair. And the problem was that if we got rid of Dave and Jay won immunity, and Jay almost did. Jay got second place in that immunity challenge. He may have easily won.
Yeah.
Jay would have a necklace around his shoulder. Brett and Sunday were staying loyal to him. And then it was me, Ken, and Adam that were in trouble. You could say, oh, maybe they'll target Adam, but maybe they think Adam has an idol. There was this real problem with making it 3-3 again. We went to Rocks with this similar division. I really wanted to break up Brett and Sunday. In retrospect, should I have probably sent Brett home instead of Sunday? Yeah, probably. But it's easier on your couch, well-fed, to look back and be like,
Yes.
that's who I should have taken to the end. That's how hard this person was playing. It's a lot harder when you're trying to gauge public opinion,
Did any part of you want to vote Sunday out because she was the only other woman? Did you ever even
No
think
part
about
of
that?
me.
Were you trying to be the only one?
No,
Okay.
no, the opposite. I wish in retrospect I had thought about this all-male jury and what I was going into.
Because David originally said, hey, let's go after Brett in this spot, and you said
Yes.
Sunday.
No, I had changed my mind to Sunday. I was afraid too of, listen, I did not vote Sunday out because she was going, no, but I was afraid, Brett was not someone that Adam would want to link up to. At the time, I really did want to go to the end with Adam and Ken. And so I was playing with wanting to go to the end with Adam and Ken in mind, and that's what you have to understand sitting on your couch at home. And I thought leaving Sunday in would give Adam, who had been bonding with Jay, as we saw, the ability to flip over there. It made sense to me at the time. It did, I swear.
Yeah, that's fine. With Adam and Ken at that final tribal council, that was the final tribal council
final
that you
tribal.
wanted.
Yes.
Did you think that you were going to win going into that final tribal council?
I felt like I had created an argument against the two people sitting next to me. I felt like I had carved my own way and created an argument, and I felt like that was the best that I could have. And I fought really hard, and I wasn't ashamed of the game that I played. I felt very quickly that I didn't have it.
Yeah, very quickly.
Very,
I
very
wouldn't
quickly.
know. I
Yeah.
wouldn't know what it's
You
like to
never-
sit there and know you don't have it or have it.
I think it was interesting
yeah,
because it
it's tough.
seemed like at the end of the finale, one of the things that maybe a big mistake that people made was underestimating Adam because everybody was Dave.
Yeah,
Right? And it seems like Adam
for a while, a lot of people wanted
could have
to
even give Dave a run, maybe. I don't know.
To be determined. For a while, my lovely brother, who I consider Adam a brother. No, a lot of people wanted to sit next to Adam for a
Yeah.
long time. A lot of people wanted to sit next to me and Adam. We were annoying people in similar ways.
Can you explain the trust cluster to us?
Okay.
Or do you want to disavow it?
No, The thing is, Zeke and I talked about trust clusters, and the reason we loved it is because of how dumb it sounded.
Yes.
It was this tinge of irony, and it became so unironic. And Zeke
And now
I
you're
were
concerned
like,
that people think it's really something you're proud
listen,
of, trust cluster?
it was the silliest name we could come up with. We were just.
But all right, forget the name. Could you explain what the difference is? Because I think that a lot of people have had a hard time differentiating what is a trust cluster, what is a voting
People
block.
have hard times differentiating voting block from alliances. It's all no.
Are there differences between the two things, or is it different words for the same thing of a smaller alliance?
Well said.
Possibly. I think that with a voting block, isn't the whole idea that every vote can be reconstructed with like a trust cluster? With like a trust cluster, I guess technically there's something deeper there. There's some sort of alliance under this, like different alliances come together and form this thing. People can debate it on Reddit for years.
Yes.
I won't be.
Kim,
doing it.
what do you think?
I think a trust cluster is somewhere between a voting block and an alliance.
Thank you, Cam.
Okay, but what is
Rob
it?
is about to roll
What is it?
his
No,
eyes at
I
me.
That was
because I do
another
think
carefully crafted
because I do
answer.
think that there's something interesting to it. To me, I feel like that it's more like the opposite of like that the idea to me that makes more sense is that I know I don't trust this person and I don't trust this person, so I want to to me what makes more sense is sort of like the distrust cluster.
Zeke and I thought it sounded like a cereal, so we were just laughing. When Jeff Probst was using it, the reason Zeke and I were laughing is because we were like, this is the silliest thing ever. But I do think that there is something to be said that there were alliances of like Ken and Dave and me and Adam, but they were forming these things. Yeah, you can
Wow.
debate it on your podcast.
Yeah, well, look, I appreciate it because we have many hours to fill, and it's
Perfect.
I'm happy to have a new thing to talk about. When Will said, I'm going to do the pendulum,
Yes.
how much were you really on board with it, and how much were you sort of just like, oh, yeah, this sounds great?
You know, it's hard to say in retrospect, but I will say that we were in a desperate situation.
Yeah.
I mean, after we lost that rock, and after I didn't have Dave play as idol, and I knew the votes were coming to me. Zeke was so angry, I could feel it. You know, I really thought like I am going home next. I mean, Dave and I would joke, we're like we're on the bottom, we're bottom dwellers, and Will is like, I have a plan. So part of it was just the excitement of like
Something
is happening.
Yes.
I am anything, please. I think it wasn't realistic. Once it sort of like started playing out, we were gonna lose everyone's trust. Me, Will, and Adam had the pendulum. Will wanted to sit at the end with me and Adam and pendulum it. But yeah, I did understand where he was coming from, and I was just so freaking excited to not be so far on to the bottom.
And I know that you've seen so many different seasons of the show. What is it about this cast and this jury
Yeah.
that you guys are able to walk away from this season and not have the kind of bitterness that there is in other seasons, Kim?
Yeah, no, good
Yeah.
vibes all around.
Right.
Nice cast.
Is it because you guys have a likable winner, unlike Kim's season?
You were a great winner.
Thank
I
you,
know you're
Hannah.
joking. I know this is a joke. I don't know.
I like to think.
I have to understand. I've been doing press and this and.
No, I
Yes.
do understand. I do
Anxiety of
understand.
being on live TV, coming down. No, I think that I don't know. We were all there to like play really hard, and then, you know, not make it cruel. I think Jeff would always comment before and after the challenges. He was like, "You guys always hug each other after the challenges," and we're like, "Yeah, because there's love under all this." I remember Zeke and I had had our thing the night before, and it had gotten really heated. And the next day, Zeke and I are in line waiting for our family to come out, and we were hugging each other, crying. Because at the end of the day, you know, there's only one group of people that will understand this experience. But I think the real reason we all love each other is because we're all freaking super fans.
Yeah.
And we were all like, we get
You
this.
get it.
We get
And
it.
There's
It was a
enough
great dynamic.
people that it's like you're creating a new culture, a new atmosphere. It's I think there's enough key people that approach the game that way and that were amazing. It changed everyone's perspective. Whereas if you have a couple of bitter people, I think everybody tends to be bitter.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if that's it's really neat.
No, you know, we just all had come out there to play so hard. So while there may have been initial anger or hurt, we were all sort of like, all right. And yeah, and Adam's a wonderful winner, and I love him a lot, and he played a fantastic game,
agreed.
and we're all happy he won.
Yeah. All right. Well, Hannah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
High five.
You're doing great.
I'm doing.
You're doing
what
great.
an exhausted,
It's a long,
neurotic
long
do
day.
after all of this.
Yes.
It's also so weird to be a two-dimensional character and have smart dudes like you analyze my moves. It's just so so odd. I'm just like sitting there
It's
being
exhausting.
like, this is the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
I love two-dimensional me is like doing its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, well, thanks for
too.
being such a good sport.
No, of course.
And congratulations on being the number 14 TV character of the year, Hannah.
What? It was all Emmy award winners.
I shouldn't do that anymore.
Yes.
It made no sense. I was like, what is happening?
No, it does make sense because you're cute. You're so cute.
Me?
Yeah.
Guys.
You are.
All right, well, Hannah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice
Hope
to meet you.
hope we can talk about it more sometime.
I'd love to.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
one other thing.
Yes.
Are you interested in Ken, or is he too old for you?
I think that Ken and I will probably not continue our post-island romance.
Okay.
But come on, Ken and I versus Figgy and Taylor, who do you ship more?
Well, at this point, you guys.
All right, I guess there's a
Yeah.
baby
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you
It's
pregnant?
looking like
I mean,
you and Ken.
Seems-
I'm not pregnant. He doesn't have a pregnancy.
Looking
so
like Kenna.
yeah.
Kenna?
Why not?
I like the name.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Hannah,
see.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, I'm very excited to be back here with one of tonight's runners-up. Please welcome Ken. Ken, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, brother. Been better, been worse.
Yeah, hanging in there?
Yeah. Could
Okay.
you do me a favor real quick?
Yes.
Just before we get rolling.
Yes.
Would you do my voice for me?
Always good.
Just for
Well-
me. I really wanted to hear it.
Apparently, this is a very embarrassing moment for me to be. Am I doing? Am I?
Yeah, it was not bad. Not bad. Yeah.
It's easier. It's easier
Not
when
bad,
you're
not
not
bad.
here,
I
Ken.
understand. I get
That
that.
makes it easier.
That's why I
Nervous.
wanted to put it on
He
you.
pictured
Yes.
you being shorter,
Now-
you know, and so
you didn't realize.
Yes, yes. Now, also, what if that was recorded on vinyl? Would it have sounded better?
A lot smoother. Always
More
smoother.
texture.
You know that.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, Ken, excited to talk to you. I think everybody wants to know from you the move at the Final Four when
Yeah.
you decided to vote against David. I thought, and I think everybody thought.
You mean
that,
when Adam convinced me to vote for
Well,
David?
talk us through it because
yeah,
obviously
we want to
you.
know, how did it
Yeah.
go
At
down?
the, at the final tribal council, you obviously reacted like, hey, hold on, that was my move,
Yeah.
not Adam's move. Don't take credit for my move. So why that move at that time?
I knew that at the beginning of the game, shaking up the game, getting Paul out, getting Lucy to go, getting Dave and I and Cece in control of that Gen X tribe would greatly impact and affect how things went after the merge. I knew if Brett and Paul and Chris and Lucy and Sunday were all in charge, David and I would be disposable. When we worked for them, and then when they're ready, they cut us off. So we had to make that move. Shook things up at the beginning, but when we got over there, the very first day I hear Taylor and Jay like, dude, that guy Ken, like, we got to get him out because they saw me as a threat.
Sure.
So our first challenge back, I come back and I put my shirt in a sling, my long sleeve button up, and I'm really talking about how bad my arm hurts and the old football injuries and everything else, and they like, oh wait, dude, this guy's broken up.
old.
He's not a problem. We're good. We got him. And I went under the radar for a bit, and then at the end of the game, people were surprised that I would have made that move because they hadn't been paying attention. And a lot of people will, and others who wanted to like shout from the mountaintops, look what I just did. I knew if I did anything along those lines, the bullseye on my back
Yeah.
that was already there would have been huge.
I
and I would
totally
have
see
been
that
out
for you
much
because
sooner.
you are one of those guys that people are going to typically pinpoint as a threat. You know,
Exactly.
you're athletic and you're smart, and so I think you do have to downplay yourself to get as far in the game
Which
as
is
you
why I
got.
faked injuries, which is why I sat there in conversations when I knew someone was making a stupid decision and just smiled and said, okay. But then at the end, I moved for Dave. I didn't question because I wasn't out there playing for
You knew it was
David Wright.
time.
David Wright, I love the guy. He's amazing. Now consider him a very, very close friend and a person that I just love dearly. But I was out there for my daughter. I was out there for my family, and I wasn't out there for him. So I told him, I was like, great, Dave, you're number 2, but you know we're close to number 1, and I had no problems making that move.
So was it a perception problem for the jury that they didn't understand really what your intentions were and what the design was behind the move to get out?
Yeah,
there?
and the millennials also didn't see what happened on the Gen X tribe, and because of knowing, when I watched Chris and Brett go after Jess, that first one with Paul, they were on fire. And I already knew they didn't like me. Chris thought I was weird. Brett thought I was weird. If I had spoken up and been more outspoken about moving that group out of the way with Dave, they would have put me right there with them. But Dave wasn't a perceived physical threat, and he hadn't quite transformed into the butterfly that he became yet. So I had to float on the radar, and I think I floated a little too far under. And they've since come up to me after watching the game like, I had no idea. we didn't know you were a part of that. And so it's
So I have a
don't know.
question for you. Knowing
Better next time.
now how it all played out, is there anything that you feel like you could have sat at Final Tribal Council and said differently that would have changed the way it ended? Or
people
you
walked
think it
in
was
that
too late?
night and they were set. I mean, the
Yeah.
fact that we had 3 millennials that didn't even acknowledge me as if I wasn't even there. The middle stump was just blocked. I was a ghost, and apparently they don't see ghosts. So, yeah, I don't think I could have done anything differently. Their minds were set when they came in. You could feel it, and that's when,
You just knew.
I knew afterwards. I just walked off.
In that final tribal council, we were trying to, while we were in our seats, trying to figure out, okay, who's voting for who? And we were talking about Jessica. Well, Jessica's going to vote for Ken, but she came in and she seemed very aggressive towards you in the final tribal council.
She was testing me.
Yes.
That's what that was.
This
She
te-
was
more
testing
testing,
me,
Ken?
which I get it. It's fine. Go for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I had no problems with it. I knew where she was coming from, and she also was a dear friend. And it's one of the weird things in this game: you attack people and go after people, but you also walk with a lot of friendships. And what I've talked to from other people who've watched our group together today and yesterday, past players, producers, like, wow, we don't think we've ever seen this kind of cohesiveness and this kind of connection, genuine friendships,
special
genuine
thing.
love. And we played a strange game this year, but I think people loved it because it was cutthroat, but at the same time,
good.
there were some beautiful relationships and some things that unfolded that you never would have expected.
Yeah.
And I mean, my sunrise romance with Hannah on the beach every morning.
Did you know that was a thing?
We were there every morning, and people were chattering, and people were actually asking, like, dude, do you have a thing for Hannah?
And?
They were scratching their head.
We're also wondering, do
No,
you
I don't have a
thing
thing.
for
I mean, I
Hannah?
have a
Is
thing
that
for
what's
Hannah.
Complicated? That's the complicated
Yes, I
relationship?
have a thing for Hannah. I don't think she's open to me. I think I'm too old for her. She said Dave and I are too
How old are
yeah.
you? We were just wondering how old you are.
I'm 34.
You're 34.
Yeah. But Kim's speechless. Kim's speechless.
I'm not going to explain why.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we're the same age.
I don't know.
Well, I'm 33.
Yes,
I'll be
okay.
34 soon.
So I'm old for you too.
No, you're not, but I'm married and I have 3 kids under 3,
all right,
so
all
you don't
right,
want
come
to
on.
take all this on.
So let's talk about the legacy advantage, Ken. You're up to your old tricks. And so let's talk about the legacy advantage. Were you disappointed in the power that the legacy advantage had? I mean, you don't know what this thing is. You're sitting with it for 36, or from the point Jessica's out of the game, and then it's like, oh, I guess nobody can vote for me in this vote.
Which was great. I mean, anytime you have immunity in this game, whether
That's
it's
nice.
earned, whether
It's
it's
nice.
given,
If you
whether
had
it's
been in
found,
trouble, it would have been everything.
It's amazing. Exactly. It would have been everything. And I think had I been on the block and had I not won immunity and had I not been in the position that I was in, people would have been like, holy fuck, that was amazing.
Absolutely.
He's great, and he's still going. I think people were let down, but I also know people were asking, and I was thinking during the game, like, what is this going to mean? What is going to happen? Like, what is it here?
the not knowing.
Am I going to be able to, like, kick someone out of the
Right.
Final Four and pull someone off the jury and bring him back into the game? I'm thinking, what if Dave goes out? Am I going to be able to bring him back from the dead? Like, you have all these wild ideas, but that would have greatly affected the integrity of the game, and I think it was perfect the way it was. It just, I happen to be in a position where,
You didn't need it.
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, Ken. Well, they're pulling you away. We got many more questions to ask
They're
you.
pulling you by
hopefully.
your vest.
Yeah, hopefully one day. Hopefully we passed our test, though.
Yeah, man, no.
All right, Ken.
Do you want to do the voice
Yeah.
one more
Meet you, brother.
time? Like as a
No,
goodbye?
No, I think
Ken's
we're
being a
good.
good sport. Ken's
Yeah.
Ken's being a good sport. Thank you so
Pleasure to
much,
meet you
Ken.
guys.
Have a great
Nice to
night.
meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
All right, everybody. We are here now with a man we can call an honorary Survivor know-it-all at this point.
Yeah.
David Wright is here. David, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's so great to be here and talk to you guys. This is insane. Like, I've been listening to RHAP for years.
Yes.
And to be standing here holding a microphone with you about to ask me questions about the game I played as Survivor, I can't wrap my head around it.
Yes. Well, David, I feel Kim can't relate to what we've been through.
Oh, yes.
Right. Yes. I
But
related a
you
lot
were-
to your game.
You were right
your
there.
first
David.
game. Yeah.
You were right there. Everybody said that you should have
Truly.
been the winner. You
Yeah.
could have done
Yeah.
it. And then, gone.
Yeah. Gone. Yeah. And you know exactly what that's like.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well,
How are you coping?
I'm doing fine. Honestly,
Has that been hard?
It's not been hard at all. I mean, to be honest, no one's going to believe this, and I swear to God I said this as soon as I got voted out, that when I got voted out, and I really did try to win, but when I got voted out, I felt a huge sense of relief that I didn't get there, because I think I maybe would have won the million. And I just undergone all this personal growth that I feel like throwing $1 million on top of that would have
Would've
just
complicated it?
Would have complicated it and done
Wow.
damage to it. that said, if I were to ever go back again, I'm ready for
You
the
would want to
$1 million.
win. Now you're mature enough to handle
Yeah,
the
I
$1 million
can handle
win.
it. Yeah.
How do you
What?
handle winning on the first time?
You have to have incredible maturity
Yes.
and incredible depth. Yes. No, I just think that's amazing perspective because so many people do, just relive it over and over and over again. So I'm just amazed.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, maybe people would kick themselves, or you can speak to this, but to make it to 38 days of a 39-day game, I felt like a tremendous sense of accomplishment because I never
Yes.
believed I was ever going to make it that far.
Gosh.
Yeah.
You played an
we
incredible
can go
game.
into this in greater detail another time.
Sure.
But going back to then ultimately Ken turning on you at the Final Four, did you see that coming at all? Did you think worst case scenario is going to be fire making?
Yeah,
You
this
did.
is going to sound incredibly naive. I swear to you. Going into tribal, I thought at worst it'll be a tie and it'll have to go to
Wow.
fire making. And then, but about a minute deep into tribal, I thought, oh no, actually this is not going my way.
Yeah.
And I tried to appeal to Ken's sense of loyalty.
You're so trustworthy.
Yeah, I'm like, this guy, you can trust
I'm
this
not
guy.
nervous at all.
Exactly. But of course, Ken made the right move, and I harbor no ill will or resentment about it at all. He's a great guy, and the loyalty and trust that we had in the game really was real, but ultimately he made the right choice for his game.
I also thought it was so interesting in that last tribal council that you were in, where Adam was talking about David's game was here, and you were raising his hand.
Oh,
you were making
God.
it higher.
Can I tell you?
Was that for show?
Okay,
or
first
was
of all,
You were joking.
well, joking, having a little fun, but also here's what I was really trying to do is, and by the way, watching that on TV just now, I was like, oh, I hate that. I come off so
No.
cocky. I come off
It
so
didn't,
terribly.
honestly. It didn't.
Oh, I hope not. But
Not to me.
I mean, for your character, it was like, boy, how far we've come from
yeah.
day one.
Yeah.
But from a game point of view, I was wondering what you were doing
Yeah.
there.
And this is what I was doing. I thought, you know what? If I really can trust Ken's loyalty, that I will just make someone else plead my case for me. It was something normally you would do at Final Tribal, but I thought, why not just get the jury greased up? And so I thought, okay, fine, and have a little fun. But I do regret
It was
doing
too
that.
early?
Well, it's not that it was too early, but it was just too cocky. I regret it. But
Yeah. David, that aside, you really had an incredible episode tonight here, starting from the final six, when you have this idea to make a fake hidden immunity idol.
Yeah.
And one of the best that we've seen on Survivor, not only that you got a coconut, whatever you did to it, put it out in play, put paint on it,
Yeah.
and created one of the most realistic decoy idols that we've ever seen in the show. And then it was such a great scene when Jay is like, these dummies don't even know I've seen it. What was running through your head during all that?
oh my
You're
God.
like, I think he saw it.
Yeah, I did. I remember walking along that
Yeah.
path, and then I'm like, I think he saw it. And then we got back to camp, and Jay was like, oh, you know what, guys? I'm going to go get some water. And I had hid it by the well. And I'm like, I got him. And it was, honestly, to see it get, to pay off so well, because going into the game, that was my plan, to plant a fake immunity idol, just have a little fun with the game. And I was so happy to see it work.
Okay, I have a question. How'd you get the coconut to stick back together?
It's amazing, actually. So we had so many coconuts, right? There's so many coconuts. I was looking for just the right one, and I found this one coconut. It almost looked like someone had drilled a hole in it. It was a small kind of hole, but I was able to just
Oh, you
force
slid
the
it
idol
down
in.
inside.
Yeah, so
Ah,
I never
got
had to
it.
split
Okay,
it open.
okay.
It was amazing that you did the whole thing at night. You had paint.
With your own
Yeah,
fire?
yeah.
You had your own little fire with your workshop?
Well,
It's really incredible.
It was so involved. They didn't even show it because I used pink paint, but to do
Yes.
that I had to mix red and white because I wanted to use paint
Wow.
color that wasn't available at camp.
Yes.
And then I woke up with all this pink paint all over myself, and it was like Lady Macbeth,
Yes.
trying to wash all
Yeah.
the blood off.
Hurry.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
And then you had another incredible moment then in the Final Six Immunity Challenge, which you won incredibly.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, you were the one that said, hey, Jay didn't cover his puzzle. Hey, everybody, let's go. And it took you a couple times to get the puzzle
It
combination
did.
out.
It did.
But ultimately, you got that puzzle together the first time, and I know you had those working on those puzzles from before you went. Finally, you got a puzzle together.
Finally, because I had sold myself to my tribe and to
Yeah.
even Survivor casting that I'm the puzzle guy, and I get out there and I bomb after
Yeah.
puzzle after puzzle, I bomb. And then to finally solve one, I'm like, oh, good. And it was deep in the game, and it felt so good.
Good.
Yeah, you finally did it. Now, when Jay ultimately left his numbers open, how quick of a rationalization was it for you? Oh, I can go look at that.
I instantly went
Yeah,
over.
straight
Instantly went over. Yeah, but the problem was because I just wasn't thinking clearly. I looked at the numbers displayed on the side, but of course the numbers you got to look at are the numbers on top, which I knew, but I was just foggy, and yeah, it took 3
that's
tries.
why you had. Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense.
it's embarrassing.
No, it's not. You're just so foggy. It's so true. Day
I
37.
was.
You have. Yeah.
Yeah, you know exactly.
You can barely stand up.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
David, what do you feel like the biggest move you made in the game was?
I think probably the biggest move, I would say, is the idol I played on Jessica.
Wow.
Yeah. Because
we gave you a lot of
I
crap
know.
at the time
Yeah, which
for
is
doing
fine.
that.
I can defend the strategy of it, but I like making big moves. It was an early big move. I do think that it earned me some trust with Jessica that I don't think I had before that, because you saw how when I was looking for an idol in the first few days that she was really not trusting me and wanting to make a deal. But I feel like that was probably the biggest move I made.
I'm sure a question that you're getting a lot right now is, would you consider going back and playing again?
I'd go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If they'll ask me for a second chance season or returning season, I'll totally yes. Yeah, 1,000 times yes.
Okay. Going back to the rock draw, ultimately, you play your idol a second time. This time you play it on Ken. The votes come for Hannah.
Yes.
Why was it? Was it just based on the Adams recommendation?
It's funny. I heard what Adam heard. I didn't realize that what he heard was Sunday telling Hannah. I thought he overheard Sunday telling Brett. Had I known that it was to Hannah, well, I know that Sunday doesn't trust Hannah. Why would she tell her the truth? So, I get back, and Adam's like, they were talking about playing it for Ken. So I thought, well, okay, throw it at Ken. I don't want to lose Ken, the only guy I truly trust in the game. But of
I thought
course,
it was impressive that you just did it.
Oh,
Sometimes
thanks.
I think we overthink everything, and you're like so afraid to make a decision. And I think you heard it, and you
Yeah.
just made a split-second decision, and I thought it was impressive.
I
just threw it out there.
Well, I really appreciate that, and I actually had your voice running through my head because you're and I didn't.
boy.
No, in a good way.
Okay.
Yes.
But
yes.
because
Don't blame me for this.
But no, you're always like, if you think you have to play an idol, play it, even if
Yeah.
you're not 100% sure. Because
Yeah.
you know what? Then just go find it again the next day or whatever.
And you perfected that. You really did. One other thing about tonight's episode, ultimately, Jay steals the reward from you, but then takes you to the reward, and he says, hey, come on, take me to the
yeah.
final 3. Let's all go to the final 3.
Yes.
First off, how seriously did you consider that?
I didn't consider it all that much. It did go through my head, but ultimately I didn't think it would be a good idea. And actually, in talking with Jay after the game was over, we thought that had it been he and I sitting up there with whoever, it probably would have been 5-5, and then we would have had our first ever tie, and then we could see how they solve that. No one knows how they solve it. No one knows the protocol, so it would have been really exciting.
It would have been very exciting. And then ultimately, looking back, do you wish that you did keep Jay around?
Well, ultimately, yeah, hindsight 2020, sure, let's keep Jay around. Why not?
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's ultimately, you keep eliminating all your competition.
Right.
And then eventually you're the only threat that's left.
Yeah.
And everybody identifies that it's you.
That's it.
It's tough.
I totally forgot about that moment, and it was because I'd never considered you going with Jay. But I remember watching that tonight and thinking he should do this. This is actually not a bad plan.
Look, I probably should have.
Yeah, well, interesting. Yeah.
Better than fourth.
Well, David, you were so much fun to
Yes.
watch this
Oh,
season.
thanks a lot. Thank you.
It was really a great season, and you were such a big part of it. And I hope that you want to sit down one of these days.
Absolutely.
And really,
Let's do it.
Let's go through the whole thing.
I have my RHAP shirt in my my bag.
I saw it. I saw somebody took a picture. Today.
Oh, okay.
Yes, very impressed.
Yeah,
Very
thank
impressed.
you.
Pull it off. Fantastic.
I appreciate it.
Yes. All right,
Yeah.
David. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Congrats.
And,
Thanks
yeah.
a lot.
It
It
was
really
an
was
awesome
nice
season.
meeting you guys.
I
And
know.
Everybody, we're here with Jay. Jay, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very good. Very good.
Very
Cheers.
excited to be
Cheers,
talking
yes.
to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, Jay, what a ride it's been for you this season. What a pleasure you were to watch on this
Thank you,
season.
thank you.
Very fun. And tonight, what a crazy boot from the game
Yeah.
to ultimately find David's fake idol. But
He
it looked
caught
like
a
for
fish,
a while.
dude.
You
it
found it though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it
Who
looked
cares
like
if
for
it
a
was
while,
fake? You
Oh,
found it.
You might not have needed to play it, and then ultimately you
What,
had
the
to play it.
fake one?
Yeah, well, it looked like that you were maybe wheeling and dealing at dinner.
No.
Yeah.
It looked. I mean, I think I had him. David said yeah.
I
David
thought you
was
had
in,
it.
But then Hannah was like maybe, and Adam said no. So had Adam said yes, they were gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gonna do it.
And I don't think I was alone to say that if you got to that final 3,
Oh, I won.
yeah, Yeah, you had a lot of friends on that jury.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
'Cause they never,
Which is the interesting thing because you were alone, right, the
Yeah.
entire time. Like you were your solo
Just a lone wolf in the
lone
forest.
wolf. But you weren't alone. You were like so popular. You were Mr. Congeniality.
No,
Everybody
no.
loved you. Yeah, I think that's so ironic that you weren't ever really a part of what was going on strategically, but you were like everyone's best friend.
Yeah. I
Is
don't
that how
know.
you felt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, I just think that's so
That's
interesting.
why Adam refused to go to the end of me. He's like, no,
yeah,
you're going to
I
win.
wouldn't have wanted to go with you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take you guys.
She
We'll
knows.
battle it out.
I would have taken you out.
Yeah. So,
So she said.
I'm curious to know what's your background with the show, because you definitely seem like you knew a lot of things, but you don't seem like you're singing the song. So, what's your background with the show?
Oh, dude, I love the show, but like my main thing about the show is the challenges.
Challenges.
I love the challenges. with
Yes.
all my, like Ozzy was one of my favorite because he's a challenge beast.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
So watching the challenges is just so sick.
Yeah.
So being a part of them, I love them with all my heart. And then strategy too. I'm a people person, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's kind of easy.
Can we go back to the Michaela vote, because that was such a controversial moment in the season,
that's cool.
and a lot of idiots like me say this is a bad move, this is a terrible move. What are you doing taking out
Do
Michaela?
you still think it's a bad move?
You know what? I still do think it was a bad move. I still do think. I think that would have been a number and you did such a good job then playing from behind. But I feel like that you would have been in a better position if she was around as a number for you. I know you talked about when you did it that, hey, I know I'm not going to be able to beat her in the end. I won't be able to get better than 4th. But ultimately, you end up at 6th.
No, I think my downfall was that when we came after the merge,
Yeah.
I didn't talk to Brett. And he told me that.
Yeah.
He voted with Adam because I didn't go talk to Brett. And Brett was he was like, why isn't he talking to me? And he was freaking out. And I'm like, yo, I told you we're solid. I don't need to talk about my emotions all day like a girl. Like, I know you want to talk, but I don't want to talk. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to goof off. But
It is
that's where I
true because
messed
some
up.
people everybody has different levels of like, we're all good.
Yeah.
Like some people are like, a wink and
Yeah.
we're all good, but some people need an hour-long
Yeah,
conversation
I
to know
just
they're
need,
all
like,
good.
a high five and look
Yeah.
at you in the face. I'm like, all right, he's telling the truth.
Yeah, I can see that
So,
about you.
Yeah, I'm chilling with it. And then, but with Michaela vote, no, I don't regret it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah. It was a great moment. It was so
No
great.
regrets.
I don't regret it.
You had such an interesting relationship with Adam, and we talked about it on the podcast, just like what a real moment that was between the two of you when you pulled
Oh,
your buff
face
down
mask, everyone
says
that, yeah.
over your eyes. What was it about Adam? Did you just sense there was something about him that you talked about how you guys were like brothers and you would fight out there like brothers?
Yeah, I think I just saw, like, he's a very intelligent dude, and I'm not trying to, like, toot my own horn, but I know I'm smart. So, like, looking at him, I would think, like, all right, I respect you for some reason. And then when he sat next to me and said that, I was like, holy, it went to a different level. And he's like, please don't tell anyone ever. So I just made sure I'm never going to tell.
So you feel like y'all had a connection over it
Yeah, we fell
before
in
he
love.
ever even told you.
Yeah. It's like love at first
sweet.
sight and hate at first sight.
Yeah.
It's a yin
Very
yang of
interesting.
pain and love and weird.
Yeah, I want to know more about this.
Nothing happens.
Okay, I mean,
One of the
I like
other
women.
one of the other big moments in the season, obviously, is when Will flips against
Yeah, I
you,
know.
and I couldn't believe that he ultimately flipped against you because you were in his corner the whole game.
Oh, yeah.
You never betrayed him, and ultimately he wants to make this big move, and he ends up going off with the other side. And even the vote where he gets voted out,
Yeah.
you're still voting with him. Why couldn't you connect with him on that vote? Why wouldn't he listen to you?
I think he had it in his head, I need to make a big move, and he's a young kid just trying to prove himself in a moment, and he had his moment.
it didn't necessarily
And it
matter if
didn't
it was a
work.
good big move. It was
Yeah.
just a big move.
It was just a big, he just wanted to do something to make sure that he was talked about, and he got talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He did it.
He definitely did.
We're talking about him right now.
Yeah.
exactly.
How many times did you come close to playing your idol when you ultimately didn't?
Okay, so I was telling them earlier, this is insane. Okay, I had Sunday in my corner being like, Jay, you're safe. I think you're okay.
Yeah.
Which is still nuts because I didn't play it, but I would just follow my gut, and then like a couple times there was these two lights. This is nuts. And I would be like, okay, this light is yes, this light is no. The universe tell me what to do. If something goes in front of this one, I'm gonna do whatever. So
What lights?
there was
There's
just two lights at
stars?
tribal council.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Like in the sky or like
no, on
spotlights,
the
like cameras?
spotlights on,
Okay.
on tribal council, and then a bug would pass like the no, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. So I just went with the universe. Yeah, I'm nuts
Wow.
sometimes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool.
So it worked.
Maybe God, if there is,
Yeah.
is looking out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you play Survivor again?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will for sure.
I would
Yeah.
love to.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I thought that you were such a fun character to root for because you were such an underdog in the game. But do you feel like you would have to change the way you played if you played a second time?
You know, Handsome Joe over there, he asked me the same question.
Yeah.
I don't know, because the game is based off of the players, so I don't know who I'd be playing with. So I can't make up my own rules to a game that I don't even know what the game is yet. So
Yeah.
when I see the players, then I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Did you know automatically you were going to vote for Adam in the final three?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had David made it, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a toss-up, because then it's like emotions versus gameplay respect.
In terms of how the jury voted, was the jury sort of like on the fence, and then when he talked about his mom, that was sort of like
don't-
sealed the deal?
I think it
Or
was the fact that Ken voted out David, that they were like, how did Adam get Ken to do that, even though Ken says he didn't? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. What,
So people were already super impressed
think
with
so,
Adam's
yeah.
gameplay.
yeah, he was pretty much like sealed.
Wow.
yeah. In terms of Taylor and Michelle on the jury, I thought that if anybody was going to not vote for Adam, I thought it was going to be them, maybe still being mad about the whole Figgy thing.
No one's really spiteful or petty on our season. Everyone's
Yeah.
pretty just like, yo, you're cool. You beat me. That's it. We love
That's
you."
it?
That's
Wow.
nice. I
Yeah.
know.
Kim, what is that like?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds lovely.
Yes.
Not to have people giving you death stares.
Yes, that sounds very
Yeah,
nice.
tweets because of Michaela, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but not from her.
that we know
I
of.
mean, maybe that night counts. I
Yeah.
thought I was gonna die that night. I'm like, I'm getting hit
You
in
know
the face
what I
by a
was
girl.
really impressed with is that you held her gaze.
Oh yeah. I'm
I
I'm
was.
not gonna not look.
Well, I'm not either, but still, it's kind of like, you didn't even start twitching or anything. Because it is a hard moment when you have to look someone in the eye that you lied to,
That's
that
why I'm
trusted you.
staring right now.
Yeah, I mean,
You lost.
stare down.
Yeah. But I don't know how many people have done that before in the game to have like, yeah, I did it. And a lot of people do like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, oh, you're the best.
Yeah.
You're the best.
No, because
Eat a burger for me.
Yeah.
have a milkshake.
Yeah.
No, I just respect games. So like challenges and just gameplay and like in general.
You seem like you were having so much fun.
Oh my God,
That's
I
one of
had
the
a
things
ball.
I loved watching
Thank
you
you.
do. Yeah, that you were having a blast.
I wish I could have played the fire pole challenge.
Yeah.
I didn't want to slide down. I was like, yo, if I get up there, I'm jumping off.
Yeah.
I am jumping off this thing. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah. Well, Jay, you made the season very fun, and a lot of people are disappointed tonight, ultimately, that it wasn't you. But I hope we get a chance to talk again in the future.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Down whenever.
All right, cool.
Thank you so much.
Take care,
It
Jay.
was really good
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we are back with Brett LaBelle. Brett, how you doing
Rob,
tonight?
I'm doing great. How you doing tonight?
Very excited. I've been looking forward to talking to you.
Well, listen, I'm really excited to talk to you because I have so much to go over. We need to clear some things up. We
Okay.
need to work this through, and let's start right now.
It's
All right.
exciting.
And I know you're upset because you wanted a fishy, but that's really not my department.
Well, I'd heard twice. Somebody had said I want a fishy, and I got all excited. I was going to open up my bottle of champagne, my Survivor champagne, and I had to refridge it because Rob said you have to go out and grab that fishy.
Yeah.
So I had to put the bottle away. But then another week came up, the Zeke situation, the Zeke scene, and I heard through the grapevine because I listened real quick, but they said no, I think you got the fishy. So I'm gonna re-listen to that,
So-
and then maybe I'll open the
Did-
champagne bottle.
Did Brett get a fishy?
we have to go back and check. The
He'll
tape.
never give you a clear
That's
answer on that.
Steven's thing. It's
Okay,
not
Steven,
mine.
we need
I
to
love
know.
Steven, so I
All
want
right.
the fishy.
That's fine. So let's talk about tonight because ultimately you go out at the 5,
Yep.
and nobody was more surprised than you, except for maybe us, the viewers, that ultimately that's what happened.
Well, listen, I mean, it was a blindside. There's no doubt about that. But I kind of had an inkling it might be coming. I was out there when I was so excited when Adam found the idol, and I said, "Oh God, this is great." He's only telling me we're whispering. There's nobody around us. This is wonderful. And then we're out gathering wood as survivors do, right? And I happen on Dave and Hannah. And they don't know that I'm there, and they turn, and Dave says, "Does he?" And she says, "He does." And I go, "Ooh, this doesn't sound very. This sounds a little fishy." You know what I mean?
Fishy, right?
So I go right back to Adam, and I said, "Adam, you didn't tell Hannah that you found the idol." And of course, well, yes, I did. And I was like, ugh.
Why?
And I love Adam because he
Why,
trusted her.
why?
He was part of her alliance.
I know.
And, I knew, but she was flipping back and forth. So that I wouldn't, listen, Adam did a great job. I love the kid and everything, but I wouldn't have told her. But I did what I did do at that point, so everyone knows. I went right to Hannah, and I knew that I had to make amends with it. And we had been making amends, but I needed to explain to her, you cannot beat Dave. I cannot beat Dave.
Yeah.
Adam cannot beat Dave.
Well, I think you did a good job of convincing them of that.
yeah,
I think you're the
well-
one that did convince them of
Well, apparently I didn't do a good job of convincing that. But,
Apparently,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'll tell you.
that. Well, you just weren't around to reap the benefits of it, but
Correct.
you did convince them.
Yes, you're right.
You know?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a valid point. Thank God for me.
Yeah, I mean, did you take any credit in that you feel like that on the way out you took out David?
Yeah, but here's where it gets complicated because as much as I played against David and wanted him out because he was a
Yes.
huge threat and he played an amazing game and he's an amazing guy, afterwards I said, damn it. I said, I love that guy. Because we did. We had great conversations out there. Even though we were playing against each other, every night we'd watch the sunset when we were on Tecali, and then of course we're on the other side of the earth when we were on the Vanaka, so we were watching the sunrise. But every morning we get together and just have nice conversations, and I really liked them. So afterwards I said, I was so into the game when I said those words, and I said, I think I just screwed my friend out of the million. So I was in the game now, and you know how crazy you can get when you're in the game.
Right.
Yeah, and you were thinking about you at that point. And
Correct.
ultimately, it was Adam and Hannah that got the chance.
Correct.
Or Hannah and Ken got the chance to let Adam win.
Right.
Or let David win.
Right. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Going back to the Sunday vote, now
Yeah.
that was a blindside for
Oh,
you.
I did not see that coming,
Okay.
and I thought it was an absolutely foolish move. I'm going to go on record.
Yes. Who is a foolish move for Hannah?
Correct.
Yeah. Adam also was one of the people that was in on it. Was it a bad move for him, and it just worked? Things worked out
I mean,
for him?
listen, I had been trying to get Dave out. I saw what a threat Dave was.
Yeah.
And that was another good time to go at him. There was plenty of times to go at Dave that we never did. And everyone said, well, he's going to have an idol. And listen, that was great gameplay to always think someone's got an idol. But if you don't go at the real threat, you have to go at him at one point.
Yeah.
And, I get, as the numbers dwindle, it gets scarier.
Yeah.
Because you can't really split the votes. But, sometimes you got to roll the dice. So I was a big fan to go after Dave early. It never happened until fortunately I was gone.
Yeah.
How concerned were you about Jay winning the game? Because you and Sunday were working with him at different points after the merge. It seemed like he was another person that could make a run and had a lot of friends on the jury.
Yeah, Sunday and I had great relationships with Jay. Sunday was really close to him, and she was actually playing that a little more than she was telling me, I'm finding out. And you know what? Kudos to her, because she didn't get a lot of credit for it. She was really a workhorse out there, and she really put a lot of relationships together that helped me and help her. So I have to give her a lot of credit because, that was I noticed, and maybe I just knew as we got, as we kept losing people, he was a real threat because he's amazing at challenges,
Right.
and he is, really personal guy. It's really hard not to like Jay. He's
Oh, I
just
can't wait
funny,
to talk to
fun.
him.
Yeah, you'll love him. He's a lot.
We
of
like
fun.
talking to you too.
Well, listen,
Oh, Kim.
yeah, Kim.
I do. Brett, I think you're hilarious.
Well,
I have
Kim,
loved watching you.
I like
think
you
you're
even more. I'm gonna
so
stand over here with you. You wouldn't
Really?
give me a fishy.
I would totally give you
Yeah,
a fishy.
okay.
I just don't have any fishies to give.
No, I'm just kidding.
If I recall, I think you got a bunch.
real
Yeah.
fishy with his
If I recall,
fishies.
I think so. You had a really funny secret scene a couple of weeks ago where you were talking about the idols, about how you had it with the idols, that everybody, people, you like them on TV, but
Yep.
this season, every time you go to tribal councils, somebody is blindsiding you by pulling out an idol.
Man, I'm done with idols, and I'm gonna toot my own horn again
Yeah,
here, Rob.
good.
I made it to day 37 without ever winning an immunity challenge or ever finding one of these foolish idols. And I'll
That's
tell
true.
you, it is scary because and it's true. It seems like after the merge and even before, it seemed like every tribal council you were dealing with someone going, hey, right here, So, yeah, I had it with it. I couldn't find them. And then when I see how ridiculously obvious they were, and it was like, but I think it was I felt when I saw them that they were ridiculous. Nothing against
The
Survivor.
people that found
I
them.
think you guys did a wonderful job at hiding them. And
They're not listening. You don't
No,
have to,
I know.
You can
but-
say how you really feel.
I
about
mean,
the
I
idols.
was just like, I know the first person that walked by that would see it. So if you didn't happen to be the first person to
Right.
walk by it, I didn't feel you were going to find it.
Yeah. What was your thought process as Jay pulled out the idol at the final 6? Because obviously you must have thought that you were going to go
I was
home
getting my bag. You
if
could actually see it.
He's like, I've got an idol, and then the reaction then it's like this is not the idol, and then you're back.
I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago, someone had made a joke about making a fake idol, and I just assumed it was a joke, but people were talking about it. So I was getting my bag, and I looked right at Sunday, and she was in the jury, and she just rolled her eyes. I was
Yeah.
getting my bag ready to
That's
go.
it.
And then when he said it's not an idol, I was like, oh, and I just started laughing. And then, Jay really, that's another, I gotta give it to him. He handled that great, man. He just
I
laughed it
know.
off and said, you got me, and he
It's
handled
kinda
it
shocking.
way better than I handled getting voted out, but...
It's all right to have one little bitter
listen,
moment.
I was taught it. But no, he was so funny with it. And, he's just a good dude.
Right, and then last thing, could you set the record straight?
Ooh.
Did you or did you not have a thing for Chris?
I am going to hurt that ginger snap. I was so mad.
That was really funny.
It was not funny. I was at home because I'm trying to tweet things out, and I go on the Survivor website just a couple weeks ago, and I'm looking and all of a sudden I see Chris voted out.
Yeah.
Describes who was in love with him since day one. I go, oh no! I knew right away it was
Okay.
me. I click on it, and I literally cannot dial his phone fast enough, and I'm like, you? I'm not even gonna say it, and he goes, well, it's true, dude. I go, it's not true, and I'm gonna kill you. And of course, now I'm getting all kinds of
And what about
letters.
tonight?
And so I was all prepared. I was all prepared to screw with him on the podcast, and I'm all excited. And then he gets
On
me, and
TV.
I can't on live TV,
Right.
and I can never come back. on
9
that.
million people.
There's no, I can't, and I can say whatever I want in this row of
Yeah.
media, and I'm never gonna
No.
ever get out of that.
9 people.
He got
will
me
hear
good.
it. Right.
Yes. Well, you're not alone. I mean, Chelsea and I got that the entire season.
Really?
Of my season. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, still to this day, if you start to type in Kim and Chelsea, it's like Kim and Chelsea lesbians, question mark.
Wow.
I
Question
think I
mark.
remember that.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think I remember
Everywhere
that.
we go,
Yes.
people wonder.
Well,
Wow.
listen, you are a lovely couple.
Well, thank
Yes.
you. As are you and Chris.
Yes. Wow.
Oh God.
Yes. It's you've now inspired Kim and Chelsea also. So
Don't do that to
It's
her.
amazing. You're changing lives.
Well, listen, Chris, Chris, it's his own fault because now I get to tell all the stories of him snuggling up next to me while we're out by the fire,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
right.
ginger bear. But, this has really been exciting to be on the podcast.
Great,
I've listened
well-
so many times. And,
I'd love to do it again another time.
well, listen,
Yeah.
I hope you do.
You need more Brett. You
we
need
do.
an hour of Brett.
We do. We
Yeah.
do.
I actually do a good impersonation of Rob.
Of me.
Yes.
Well,
Okay, how do you do
go.
it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I had it all planned. I can't remember because now Chris is in my head.
I
I'll
thought
try-
you were joking. I thought that was it.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
I liked it that way.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, I am a big fan, so
All
thank
right.
you.
Well, Brett, great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you.
Congratulations.
Good
good to see you.
Mwah.
Okay.
All right,
you
thanks,
out.
guys.
Take care.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Kim, that was so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So much fun. So much charisma.
So much charisma.
Right?
Yeah. All right, let's go. I don't. Yeah. All right, here.
You
Let's
don't
get.
like these
Let's get
intros?
David.
Hi. Oh my God, this
How's
is
it
so.
going? All right, Kim, there you have it. That was our final 6 here at the Millennials
Wow.
versus Gen X finale. Kim, thank you so much
Oh my
for
gosh.
coming out
Thank
here
you for
and doing
having
this.
me. This has been a blast.
Was it,
honestly.
Kim,
It was
great?
so fun to get to meet everyone.
Yes.
Like all the people I've been watching. I'm a little starstruck.
You did such a good job. You didn't embarrass me.
You embarrassed me one time.
One time.
Just
Yeah,
once.
sorry.
And it was when you did Ken's impression.
Yes.
And it was the least good.
Kim,
I've heard
come on.
you
It's
do it.
hard to do. It's hard to do
No, you
when
did
they're
good. You were
there.
really good tonight.
Yes, so thank you very much,
Thank you.
Kim. Thanks everybody who made it through all of these interviews and stayed with us all season long. I'm going to have Josh Wigler by the studio on Thursday to go through everything.
Wow.
If you have time before this, before we get to that, robisawebsite.com/voicemail for those. There's Joe Anglem. How's it doing, Joe? Joe, you want to run through here? Can we talk? Can we-
Hashtag.
Yeah, here, Joe can. Before we sign off, here's Joe Anglem.
Hello.
How you doing, Joe?
I'm awesome, man.
Yes.
I was so excited for the finale tonight.
I mean, how could you not be?
And it
unless
exceeded
you
expectations, right?
like far beyond anything I
No.
even could imagine. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I actually thought Hannah was gonna maybe pull it, but I thought she might have had.
Really?
I thought she had like an Aubrey thing kind of happening,
Yeah.
where it was just her confessionals were amazing, but no one saw her gameplay.
I think you're right.
That's kind of where I was at, but I don't know. Regardless,
Wow.
freaking amazing season.
was.
So
How you doing?
proud.
Good?
Oh, I'm really good. I've been traveling a lot and hanging out with Kelly Wiggles and her little son Rio.
when
and
is the show coming on?
Soon.
Soon.
What is
okay.
the show?
So me and Kelly had this amazing, crazy idea to travel around the world and kind of just take our time and living life with cultures and tribes
Interesting.
and
I didn't know about this.
yeah, it's a new thing.
Wow.
It's a new thing, Kim.
Do we
new
know
thing.
what it's called?
It's called Mana. As of right now, it's called Mana.
MONO.
MANA.
M-A-N-A.
I hate it when I guess wrong.
Mana. Mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Movement, action, nature, adventure.
Congrats.
Thank
That sounds
you.
fun.
Yeah.
It's all
So-
happening, Kim.
It is happening.
Yeah.
It's happening all the time.
Yeah.
You
I
have
just
to-
don't know.
You just got to get in
don't know
it or
what's
be a
going
part
on.
of it.
Yeah.
So, well, essentially, it's just, we have all these ideas that we talked about on the show. And me and her thought about creating a show together. And now we're doing it. We're just making
Wow.
it happen. So we have a lot of concepts, ideas, core values, kind of things that we learned on the show, maybe about getting back to your core, back to
Yeah.
your getting unplugged, getting back to your family values, core values. So we got a lot of things we're talking about.
I'm
But
excited.
yeah, getting people, getting people out there. You know, the world's beautiful and big, and there's a lot to see and do, and the only way to go see it is to go see it. So
How I live my life, Kim.
I don't know. I don't.
I don't know. I think
Joe,
I don't know, bro.
Don't blow my spot.
I mean, well, no, but he's got green screens. He's
Yes,
got like
yes.
cool. He can go. He's like Fiji. And I go
Boom.
like Cambodia.
Yeah.
I mean, Beirut.
You
yeah.
don't need
All right.
that.
Well,
You
they're
don't
going to
need all
kick us
that.
out of here real soon, so I just wanted to say hi. I guess we have Joe with us. We can do
Well,
whatever
no, I
we
was
want.
gonna,
Yeah.
no, I was gonna say we have her with us.
Oh, okay.
No
Yeah.
one knows who I am.
No, they are going to kick us
Oh,
out soon.
well,
All right. So
I mean-
thanks to everybody who watched
let
all
it matter,
this.
though.
If you want more, subscribe. RHAP.website.com/iTunes. Thanks so much for watching.